As I shared before, I was a carer my whole life for my mother who had severe disability. She had pain almost every day of her life. And I grew up in a beautifully loving, caring home where I was looked after properly as a child, but I also had, from an early age, that I was also caring for her and much more later in life as an adult. And I have had mental health problems since childhood. And as somebody who is now 50 years old, my sister was diagnosed with autism when she was 40. And we are discussing the possibility of me seeking a diagnosis as well. But all through childhood and at school especially, I felt so different and misunderstood by so many of my peers. I was bullied for years, very, very lonely, but had friends and was so happy at my theatre school and when I was doing drama and with my books and with my writing and with my piano lessons. And I taught piano and speech and drama also for decades after school and through uni and after university between my degrees and at the same time. So the arts have always helped me so very much. But now thinking about issues like having mental health problems and being neurodivergent, and I have OCD, which is also considered a form of neurodivergence. When I was at school and growing up, the majority of people didn't know about any of this. Because I wasn't a small boy who studied train timetables, the old model of neurodivergence and autism in particular, all of the research was around young boys. And as a girl, as a woman, that can look very, very different with the masking we learn. So, childhood was a really, really difficult place for me. And I first saw a child psychologist when I was around 11 or 12. I was first suicidal around the age of 11 or 12. And the child psychologist that I saw, at the time, he didn't seem particularly helpful. But looking back, he was an angel in disguise. Looking back, he was one of the souls who I believe I was sent that helped me and transformed my life. He was the one that introduced the unsent letter to me. He was the one that said I could write letters to people but never send them, whether that was somebody who was alive, like a family member who I was struggling with my relationship with, or when my beloved grandparents and great aunts and uncles died. And growing up, there was times I just felt like such an alien. And when I got to university and found my tribe, and with the English Literature Society that I founded and ran, I met all these other people who were, a lot of them, very bookish, very artistic, people who maybe didn't fit in their schools, who were shy, sensitive, empathic, brilliant people. And some of them became my lifelong closest friends. And navigating life with chronic physical and mental health problems has meant that there's been many spaces where I've not felt I've been given the resources to allow me to thrive in that situation. I've had friends end the friendship because of my health problems, because I've had to cancel or postpone lunch dates or dinner dates. I've had people who have been, very unsympathetic and unsupportive due to my chronic fatigue. And so, as somebody who's now got the joy of being able to offer and hold online spaces as a minister, as a spiritual counselor, and as a writer and scholar, it is a joy for me to be able to offer courses where people can attend from their bed if need be. All you need is to be able to access Zoom and to be able to write or type or even just to listen. So I don't want anybody to feel they are not welcome in my courses and my services, my circles, due to physical or mental health problems, due to being shy. And it's also really important to me that nobody feels forced to speak if they're not wanting to or don't feel ready to, but also people that really need to share have a space when they can. So often in my life, I've been told I'm too much, I'm too difficult, I'm too demanding, as if my needs were too much for the world. And I want to say to everyone out there who's ever been told the same, you were not too much. You were not too demanding. You were not too difficult. They were just the wrong people at that time for you. There are always people who are here to listen, who are here to hold space. It's about the right fit at the right time. I went through life being told I was too ugly, too physically repulsive, that nobody would ever find me attractive. I was bullied so badly that I had terrible body dysmorphia and almost believed I was disfigured. I was repulsive. I'm now engaged to my soulmate, who I met doing the One Spirit ministry training. And dreams can and do come true. And I'm now living the life of a minister. So I want everyone else out there to feel there is a seat at the table for you. And if you can't sit at a table, that you can lie down in a bed.
Beautiful. That's such a beautiful message to share, and it pours so much through everything that you offered. It really does. The accessibility and really allowing people to just come as they are really does pour through all of what you offer. So, yeah, it's really appreciated. Thank you, Eva Mary. It says if somebody was wanting to explore your offering of grief writing, but are thinking to themselves that I'm not a creative person or I'm not a writer. Is there anything that you feel like you could speak around to this type of hesitation?
Absolutely. The kind of writing that I'll be holding space for and teaching tools is for everyone and anyone. All you need is a willingness to engage. So many people I've met were turned off writing and reading at school. They were either told at school that they didn't write well or they had to follow all these rules, and literature could be uninspiring and dull. I want to help people to have a different relationship with writing and reading. This isn't about getting it right. There's no right and wrong in grief writing. It's about connecting with our own hearts, connecting with what's within us. Writing in this way is putting thoughts and feelings on the paper. What you think and what you feel can never be wrong. So this is just, not just, this is also an opportunity to heal some of those difficult experiences people have had, perhaps at school, where either an English teacher wasn't inspiring or would put big red crosses next to something if somebody didn't follow grammatical rules or their spelling was appalling. This is about expression. This is about people expressing and sharing and working with whatever they're feeling. There's going to be no red crosses here. This is not about right and wrong. We are all creative people. I believe, as the Orthodox Jewish interspiritual being that I am, that God made us in his, her, their own image, and the Creator made us to be creative. That through dance, painting, drawing, sculpture, writing, drama, music, all of these forms of creativity and expression are there for us to joyously connect with, whether we've been told we're gifted or not, whether we feel we're gifted or not. You have a right to express yourself fully, and don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. I have no gifts or abilities as a dancer, but for years and years I did classes at Scottish Ballet, evening classes in ballet and contemporary and jazz, because I love it. And yes, I was given guidance on how to improve, but I didn't care that I was the least talented dancer in the class. That was completely irrelevant to me. I was there because of the joy it gave me to be leaping around and how it made me feel. And I've taught piano and drama and writing to people for decades. And I've been told time and time again by parents of children that their child may have not have been the most talented at the piano, but they felt loved in my lessons. They felt seen and supported. And one of the wisest bits of advice I was ever told and shared with as a teacher is, you're not teaching the piano, you're teaching a human being, you're teaching a person. So for me, the focus is much more on my clients, those in my circles, in my classes, feeling seen, accepted, loved exactly as they are, rather than people feeling they need to be good at something or have skills. If you can write at all, if you're able to write, then I hope you will get so much from this offering.